My eyes narrowed slightly at her question, my expression remaining cool and unreadable. I found myself growing increasingly intrigued by this woman's perceptive insight.
Your curiosity is justified, I suppose.
I conceded, my tone almost mocking.
But you're correct. I hold a deep disdain for the corruption that plagues our society, so no, I am not interested in joining the governing forces.
I paused for a moment, studying her face as I considered my response.
Perhaps,
I began, a hint of cold amusement in my voice.
Perhaps I wish to change the system from within.
Something tells me you've already been doing that, Sonoria remarked, with a hint of dark amusement behind her knowing smile. Or am I misinterpreting? I chuckled softly, my eyes locked on her face with a cold intensity. Her words hit close to home. Too close. She was either the most perceptive woman I had ever met, or she knew more than she was letting on.
You speak with such certainty, Miss Nighthope,
I remarked, my tone almost mocking.
It's almost as if you know something that you're not sharing.
I leaned forward in my seat, my eyes narrowing as if to challenge her.
Or perhaps you're simply making an educated guess.
There was a flicker of something like excitement in her eyes, but it was quickly schooled into a cat-like amusement. Or perhaps it's the look in your eyes, that cold calculation coupled with a dark ambition. This woman had me pegged. I had never been so keenly dissected before, and it was both intriguing and disconcerting at the same time, though she was overlooking certain details, things no one would be able to notice with how carefully I hid them. My eyes narrowed further as I leaned back in my seat once more, regarding her in contemplation.
You have a keen eye, Miss Nighthope,
I conceded begrudgingly.
You see more than most, more than even I had expected.
There was a hint of annoyance in my tone, but also a spark of intrigue. I had never felt so exposed, or so challenged. The corners of my mouth curl up in a faint smirk, my gaze intense and calculating.
But tell me, Miss Nighthope, is your perceptive eye the result of careful observation, or perhaps a touch of intuition?
I leaned forward once more, my composure now more composed than before.
You have a knack for reading people, it seems, almost as if you've had plenty of experience, or perhaps you just happen to be extremely intuitive.
Maybe it's a combination. Sonoria shrugged in feigned thought, flashing me a knowing grin. I'd say it's all of the above, really, she added as she sat up to lean back with her arms folded. She let out a warm laugh, a hand unconsciously touching her heart. Don't be so guarded, Mr. Liebert. We're on the same side, remember? We share views on the corruption of society and the illusion of mundanity everyone is trapped under. My smirk grew a little as I listened to her response. She was a clever one, I had to give her that. She was able to keep up with my cold and calculating demeanor, matching my intensity with her own, albeit warmer in her own methods.
On the same side,
I repeat, my tone almost musing.
I suppose we do share that much in common.
I paused for a moment, my gaze flickering over her face.
But I can't shake the feeling that you're holding something back.
I tend to hold back certain emotions, Sonoria replied calmly, her chocolate gaze watching my reaction closely. You see, I have a bad habit that I've since learned to quell. Worry not, I'm refraining for both our sakes. It's best not to ask about it further, unless you'd like to complicate things. That wasn't quite what it was, I could tell. There was something else, but what was it? This woman is good, but still, a bad habit? Could I really trust this woman? My eyes narrowed slightly, my expression becoming more guarded. Her vague response only made me more interested in whatever she was really hiding. There was something she was hiding, something she didn't want to reveal.
Bad habits,
I repeat, my tone almost mocking.
And what exactly would happen if you were to give in to this bad habit?
I lean in closer, my gaze boring into hers with intense curiosity. I needed to know what this bad habit was, and whatever else it was that she was keeping hidden. Why, I'd grow attached, Mr. Liebert, Sonoria told me with a low chuckle, a hand unconsciously touching her heart. A habit, it seems, an unconscious habit that seemed to hint at things that truly touched her. It isn't often that I meet someone with such intensity and intelligence who shares my views on society and the elite's corrupt nature. I study her for a moment, my expression becoming unreadable. I could sense the sincerity in her tone, the truthfulness of her words. But I also noticed the subtle way she touched her chest, as if trying to restrain some hidden feeling. And there was something else, too. What was she really hiding?
Attachment,
I repeat the word as if savoring it. I lean back in my seat, my gaze unwavering.
And why would you want to avoid attachment?
Sonoria let out another low chuckle, softer this time as she folded her arms. There was a hidden longing in her gaze now, hidden behind a warm understanding. People come and go, Mr. Liebert. I'd much prefer to avoid causing myself more disappointment than I've already experienced. For now, let's just say that I prefer to keep things platonic for everyone's sake. My gaze softened ever so slightly, my expression still guarded but less intense. There was a pang of understanding through my chest. I had experienced the pain of loss and isolation, of disappointment, and I could sense that she was trying to protect herself from it as well. Could this woman experience the same intense loneliness that comes from understanding what others cannot dare to fathom? No. I shoved that flicker of hope aside. I cannot afford to falter. Not ever.
I see.
My tone held a hint of contemplation.
So you choose to keep your distance as a form of self-preservation. Wise, I suppose, but lonely nonetheless.
Lonely indeed. Sonoria hummed in agreement, glancing away in an attempt to hide the hint of melancholy that had appeared in her warm chocolate gaze. She cleared her throat to compose herself before turning back with a warm smile as she changed the subject. Ahem. So, may I ask what you're working on now, then? My expression grew guarded once more as she changed the subject, my thoughts lingering on her moment of melancholy. It almost mirrored the monster in my own chest. I made a mental note to myself, storing this information for later. However, I pushed aside my thoughts and turned my focus to her question.
I have been
I began slowly, choosing my words with care.
assisting Mr. Hans Schuld, the vampire of Munich. He is an elderly elite who is blind, and I have been reading books to him in Latin every Thursday afternoon.
Naturally, I couldn't tell her everything. She could be a liability. I'm assuming you have plans for him, given our earlier discussions? Sonoria asked, a hint of interest as she leaned forward just a bit. My expression remained stoic as I noticed the way she leaned forward, intrigued by her question. I am not used to being asked so directly about my plans. How did she have me pegged so well?
You catch on fast, Miss Nighthope.
My tone held a hint of dry humor as I regard her.
I do have plans for Mr. Schuld, yes, but why do you ask?
Perhaps I could lend a hand, Sonoria offered, her tone thoughtful and calm, as if discussing the weather. Based on our conversation, it sounds like you're orchestrating a sort of punishment for the elites, one influential figure at a time. And I'd like to help, if you'd allow it, of course.